So from here, I thought it might be a good moment to talk about breaking up code just a little bit. So I want to basically make a general, bit of code that I can call with any Pokemon name here in this example, and get its number of abilities and get the name of the first ability. So the parts of this that are unique really is just the URL. I pass in the name of the Pokemon, and then here I reference the Pokemon name. So what I'd like to do is actually create a new function, and I'm just going to call it print Pokemon. And it's going to take the name of the Pokemon as an argument. I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to stick it in this function. Make sure you don't mess up your indentation here. And the font is making it a little hard to read. There we go, that's a little better. And I'm just gonna call the same thing that I called earlier. I'm gonna print Pokemon Pikachu, not Pokemon, Pikachu. And by default, this is still gonna load Pikachu, but I want to format this the same way we did before with these curly braces for whatever the name of the Pokemon is. And then here, I want to do a similar thing. I want to reference the name of the Pokemon. Okay, so now this should have split it up in such a way that it's not specifically for that one Pokemon, but it'll still work for Pikachu all the same. If I run it, Pikachu has 2 abilities. The first one is Lightning Rod. Okay, what about Ditto? Ditto has 2 abilities. The first one is Imposter. So it seems to work. Just for the heck of it, let's print all the abilities. So we're going to turn this into a loop. So for I in abilities, print I. So I want to show you this real quick. This is a for loop. It's going to loop through each element. And what comes through is all the JSON that is in that particular ability. So just like before, where I called this, let me back up here, this 0 abilities or ability name. I want to do the same thing, but instead of passing in 0, I'm just going to reference, let's just call this ability. It's more clear that way. I'm going to reference the specific item that has been pulled out of this array and access ability name. So here I'm going to say, perhaps we'll number it. So we'll start off, we'll create a variable I, which is the index. And every time we loop through, we're going to add one by just setting it to itself +1. And I'm going to say, here's this number, so number 1 or number 2 or whatever. And I'm going to start that at 1 so the list is more natural. We're going to have the same format command, but first it's going to be I, and then it's going to be the ability, a little redundant, but that's just how the API is keyed, name. And this will just be that same thing. And maybe before we kick it off, we'll say abilities, and then have some line break here. Okay, let's try that. Cool. Ditto has 2 abilities. Here's the list: Imposter, Limber, and I don't need that. That new line is that /n is to make a new line in the text, but the print command has an intrinsic one that's already there, so it produces an extra line. So I could do this a bunch. I could get Charizard and what are some other Pokemon names? Let's see a Pokemon list. I don't know why I'm blinking. Mewtwo, Eevee, Mewtwo. Pretty cool, right? So got a little lost here, actually. Well, anyway, it shows Mewtwo, and this, can't read the end of it. I assumed that it worked. It's printing all this stuff in between for some reason. Abilities, Imposter, Limber. Oh, this is actually from my last run. Run it one more time. I don't know why that's so unclean. There we go. Charizard, Solar Power, Blaze, Eevee, Anticipation, Adaptability, Runaway, and Mewtwo. So yeah, this is just a way to kind of split up code. I would take it probably a step further in production to, no one's going to make this program in production. But if you were to, you might make a class where you create a Pokemon from the data that came through. Maybe that's a good thing to do for the next video. But for now, this is just a way to split your code up so that you can call it multiple times. Just create this function, create it whatever function you want, and sort of abstract things away so you're not rewriting the same code all the time. And that's it. Thanks for watching.